get started.
I don't believe it! The internet went out again!
Mom, it's time to start?
Sure, go ahead if they're on.
Okay. Good morning, kids. We're gonna get through our entire lesson today without a glitch. You all want the weekend off, right? So let's get started. Mom! The internet's out again! I can't get my school done! Ugh.
You get all your schoolwork done this week?
Yeah. Well, the internet went out 2 times.
The internet went out?
And...
Ugh. That is so frustrating, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
What do you do when the internet goes out and you're trying to do virtual school?
We do this. We scream.
You scream? Yeah, well. Wouldn't it be cool if the internet was always, you know, if when you were online, it always stayed online, no interruptions? I think that would be the best thing, wouldn't it? That would make everybody happier. But around here, that doesn't work that way, does it? The internet goes out and you gotta wait. There's always interruptions. In our Bible story today, it talks about how Jesus did miracle number 2 with no interruptions. Today's story starts in John chapter 5, verses 46 through 54. And the Bible says this: So Jesus came again to Cana of Galilee, where he had made the water into wine. And there was a certain nobleman whose son was sick at Capernaum. Wow, Jesus went to Cana again? That's the same place he turned the water into wine.
I've never heard of Cana.
Yeah, that's the same place he turned the water into wine.
I've never heard that before.
Yeah, so let's see. And there was a certain nobleman whose son was sick at Capernaum. Does anybody know?
That's a really weird name.
Yeah, it is. Does anybody know how far away Capernaum was from Cana?
I don't know. 1,000 miles?
No. I think it was almost 20 miles.
Wow.
That's a long ways. Do you know how long it would take to get 20 miles today? If we got in our car and went 20 miles, how long would it take us from here?
If we had rocket boosters, 70 hours?
No.
If we had rocket boosters on a car, we would just go in 1 second.
Yeah. No, it would take about, probably from here to get 20 miles, it would probably take about 40 minutes. That's a pretty long time. How long do you think 20 miles, how long do you think it would take 20 miles back then if you were walking?
1 million hours. 1 million years.
It would take about 6 hours. 6 hours
so
of walking.
I was this close.
Yeah, it would take about 6 hours for somebody to get from Cana to Capernaum walking. That's a long ways. When he had heard that Jesus came out of Judea into Galilee, he went to him and implored him to come down and heal his son, for he was at the point of death. His son was dying. That's terrible. At the point of death.
I have a question.
What?
Can Jesus bring people back to life?
Actually, he can. But that's not what we're talking about in this lesson. So anyway, so the man's son was very, very sick. When he got there, Jesus said this to him in verse 48. Then Jesus said to him, unless you see signs and wonders, you will by no means believe. So he thought that the man probably wouldn't believe in him unless he saw signs and wonders. What else had Jesus done? What did he do? What was his first miracle?
Make water into wine.
You're right, he made water into wine. They got to taste that miracle, didn't they?
Yeah.
They actually got to...
It was the best wine ever.
Yeah, it was. It was the best wine ever, and the people remembered it. So the nobleman said to him, Sir, come down before my child dies. So he wanted Jesus to go back with him to Capernaum. You think Jesus would go back with him?
Yes.
No, actually Jesus didn't do that. Jesus said to him, go your way, your son lives. What? But just a minute ago he was dying. So the man believed the word that Jesus spoke to him and he went his way. So the man believed him, didn't he? The man believed Jesus. He believed Jesus' word. He believed what Jesus said. So the man thought, okay, he told me my son lives, so I can go back home. So he was now going down and his servants...
He wasn't home?
No, the man was in Cana talking to Jesus about his son that was in Capernaum, remember?
Oh.
They were 20 miles away. So the man turned around and starts going home, and his servants met him and told him, saying, "Your son lives." Wow, he was so excited. He's like, wow, Jesus said my son lives, and I believed him, and I started going back home, and now my servants who were with my son, they believe him too. Then he inquired of them what hour when he got better. And they said to him, yesterday at the 7th hour. Yesterday at the 7th hour, the fever left him. And the man went, that's exactly the time I asked Jesus to heal him, at the 7th hour. Then the man really believed him. He just didn't have a little bit of faith. He thought, wow, this is actually true. It's actually true what Jesus said. My son is better. And Jesus healed him at the very time I asked him to. So the father knew that it was the same hour in which Jesus said to him, your son lives. And he himself believed, and his whole household. So not just he believed, but his whole household. Who do you suppose is his whole household?
Family?
His whole family and his servants, right? Mm-hmm. Everybody that lived in his house believed in Jesus. Because, why? Because he healed the sick boy. He didn't go to the sick boy and touch him and say, be healed. He healed him just with what?
His mouth.
His word. His word healed him from 20 miles away. So now we know that not only can Jesus, I know, now not only can Jesus make water into wine, that was true, because that happened, but now we know Jesus can heal people from a long distance away. You know how when you do your virtual school, and your teacher is a long ways away?
Yeah.
And you can see them and talk to them, and they can help you learn something? Mm-hmm. Well, that's what Jesus did, except what happens with the internet? There's interruptions, isn't it?
It does this. It does.
Yep, and it cuts out. You have to put in your password again.
It has to load and load.
Yeah, load and load and load. That doesn't happen with Jesus. You know how we know that doesn't happen with Jesus? There's no interruptions? Because at the same exact time that the man asked Jesus to heal his son, that's the same exact time that Jesus healed his son. Boom. Just like that with his word. He said, your son lives. And he did. Wasn't that awesome? Mm-hmm. So again, this is the second sign Jesus did when he had come out of Judea into Galilee. What do you think the third sign is going to be?
No idea.
No idea. I guess we'll find out next week. See you next week. Bye.